My name is Pawan Kumar and I'm here to give a presentation about the fourth industrial revolution and the disruptive technologies it introduced, which are paving way for the worker exploitation into different systems. This is an era of 3D printing, robotics, augmented reality, autonomous vehicles, and many more things happening here. We're not talking about the future here, we're talking about the present, the things happening around our lives, which are affecting our life and the work along. So we are potentially living on the cusp of the fourth industrial revolution. Along with the positive nature of the fourth industrial revolution, there are pros and cons in this situation. So to talk about the pros of the industrial revolution, we should be speaking about the higher productivity. The productivity of each industrial era has been increased by 50 times over its preceding age. This is because of the level of automation and the technological advancements it is making. The second advantage of the fourth industrial revolution with the quality of improvement in life. Due to the COVID, many would have faced most challenges, but the technology has made possible for everyone to continue their daily operations and process without ever stepping outside and meeting people. And this has been proven in the COVID, like ordering food online, booking a flight from your comfort zone, like watching new movies without even stepping outside, like meeting your friends in virtual reality or the virtual meetings, and even controlling your lights and many things in your home from the comfort zone without even pressing a button. All these things are possible with the advancements of technology, which has got introduced in the fourth industrial revolution. The third advantage in the fourth industrial revolution will be the opening of new markets. With the fusion between the technologies, the barriers like physical, digital, and biological space are combined, and more products and more services are being offered in these particular markets, which opened a totally new era and made possibility for these combined services to get launched together. The fourth advantage would be the low entrepreneurship barriers. With the introduction of automation and virtual services, a young entrepreneur can open a business he likes from the comfort of his home and operate a service clients from the comfort of his home without the need of brick and mortar stores. People are now offering diverse solutions and conducting various operations from their own locations. And the fourth industrial revolution made possible for a lot of young entrepreneurs to enter at low cost and operate a business successfully. As the era is getting developed and more advanced in the automation and technologies, there's also a lot of disadvantages that are being happening in the terms of unemployment, inequality, ethical and moral issues with the fourth industrial revolution. So when we talk about the inequality, with the introduction of automation and technological advances, most organizations are now preferring to employ a digital and a robotic employee rather than a human presence. So in order to cut costs and operations, like if you see in the case of McDonald's, they remove the person who serves at the reception and replace them with the digital kiosks. It's not only in McDonald's, it's everywhere, even in the Amazon warehouses or the Uber driver apps, and like Uber tried to produce fully autonomous cars without the need of a driver. So as that automation is getting more involved into one's life and the technologies are more getting allowed into one's life, the ease of doing business is greatly increasing. At the same time, there's a lot of inequality being increased in the terms of unemployment. Second most disadvantage would be the core industry disruption. With most of the organizations are still operating their businesses traditionally, they're being forced to compete against their online counterparts, like the traditional taxis versus the Uber, Netflix versus the traditional TV and cinemas, and restaurants versus the online menu ordering apps like Menulog and Uber Eats, and hotel industries versus the Airbnb. And the ramification of these services, which are being offered more conveniently, is bringing a threat to the brick and mortar stores' existence.
Hello everyone, this is Murli. My partner earlier have discussed about the pros and cons of fourth industrial revolution. I'm here to speak about Amazon, which is a global company which has thrived in this fourth industrial revolution. Amazon has a business worth of more than $1 trillion, and it has generated $11.3 billion in 2018 alone. But it has paid zero amount of federal tax, and it got a $129 million in tax cuts. Before going to the tax cuts, how Amazon makes money? Amazon makes money through its online retail, where it is the biggest e-commerce company on the planet. Although it has been doing its business online in until recently, but it has acquired Whole Foods in $13 billion deal, which has bought almost 460 stores across US, Canada, and UK almost overnight. So they have been generating their revenue now through online stores, physical stores, Amazon subscription services, and Amazon Web Services, and third-party seller subscription services. So Amazon generates a huge amount of profits. How it is able to get this tax write-offs? First of all, we need to talk about Trump's Jobs and Tax Cuts Act in 2017. In 2017, Trump has reduced the corporate tax from 35% to 21%, so that the businesses could thrive more and generate economy and more jobs. But has it really generated more jobs? No. When compared to the numbers prior to the implementation of the act, it says it has generated less amount of jobs, and the economy hasn't been got any better after the implementation of this tax act. So through this act, Amazon has been a major beneficiary through this act, because not only it has been paying only 3% of federal income tax for the last 10 years, from 2009 to 2019. How it is paying this much amount of less amount of taxes? Because of its reinvestment, and because of the Trump Jobs Act in 2017, and stock-based compensation, and reinvestments, and tax credits. How it's getting tax credits is Amazon invests majority of its funds generated into its developing machinery and building new warehouses, and it has nearly $1.1 billion in potential tax credits to be written off. And it also invests majority of its income in research and development, like in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and other sectors of its businesses. Thereby it helps Amazon to grow in long-term basis. Like its future is going to be big, like its future is safe and secure by investing whole amount in there. But what about the taxes? It got like on the through this stock-based compensation, where startups and other corporate companies pay their employees, executives, through stocks, through shares, instead of wages. Through this act, Amazon is able to save like $1.4 billion in 2019 alone. So, and also by reinvestment, like Amazon net income nearly doubled year over year in the second quarter of 2020. Its revenue has been increased by $88.9 billion. Amazon revenue, which says its total net sales, has risen to 40.2%, which made the which made the net revenue $88.9 billion. Its operating income has increased 89%, which accounts to $5.8 billion. But on generating this much amount of revenue, where due to the pandemic it has generated huge amount of revenue through supply and demand. But during this period, have they been looking after their workers, who have been helping them to gain these profits, to go through these operations, to perform these operations day out and day in? So Amazon has recently released a statement stating that they're gonna hire 100,000 workers, but Amazon hires people on a part-time basis. So when Amazon hire an individual on a part-time basis, he earns, like, per an year, if he works for a complete year, the most he can earn is $28,000 for a financial year. Jeff Bezos makes more than that in 1 second in a year. So how Amazon is exploiting its workers. So when Amazon employs its workers on a part-time basis, for an instance, consider an individual has completed 12 months in Amazon, and he's supposed to be promoted, like, or eligible for a full-time job where he gets paid more, since he has been working for the past 12 months. What Amazon does is just discard them, and then rehire them on a part-time basis, so that they can pay them in peanuts. So not only this, but there have been various instances in their warehouses or in their facilities, where there have been accidents, injuries, and other related incidents, which has caused a great deal of pain to the workers. And workers working in Amazon warehouses are encouraged to take their meals on food stamps, and and pressured to take less amount of breaks or encouraged to take less amount of breaks. And while they're working in the warehouse, they are attached a GPS tracker which tracks their speed and everything for the entire shift they're working. So if they are not working properly, they are fired, or they are given a warning by their supervisor, and makes their job more stressful. Amazon locates its warehouses in remote areas so that the investment is very less. In the warehouses they have established in Seattle on Virginia, they in their places, like after the establishment of Amazon warehouses, the warehouses wages have grown like 10 or 15%. Say Amazon has established a warehouse in Seattle. In that area, the income of warehouse workers for a financial year is $47,000, and after establishment of Amazon warehouse, it has reduced to $32,000. It creates more jobs and it drives the economy. That's a fact. But does it really care about its workers? No, it doesn't. These part-time workers, they don't have any pension coming on in their future, or neither they any Medicare or health benefits. So if they are insured, they are on their own. They are terminated. And if they are insured or terminated, how can they be? For example, in a warehouse, an instance, accident has occurred to a worker, and he is unable to work for the next 2 weeks. Who will be taking care of his Medicare bill or his future? So Amazon doesn't really exploit its workers through Amazon workforce exploitation. Uber also does the same, but it does it in a bit different way. Say Uber hires its drivers as partners, making them independent contractors, so they are not eligible to any sort of health benefits or pension. Say for an Uber driver, if he works for a week like 30 hours, a full-time job similar to full-time job, and whole year if he does a Uber job, does he get any benefits? Not really. But these worker exploitation companies have been spoken, and these have been all been in the news and stuff. But have they been punished, or have they been fined for this, or have they been implementing? Have there been any steps taken towards the worker safety? No, not at all. Why is it happening? Because in the 2017 alone, in the first half alone, Amazon and Uber and Lyft, they spent like more than $160 million for lobbying, so that they don't get any tax, or they don't get any tax cuts or they don't get any tax cuts for their business model. So in order to sustain their business model, in order to they keep their business going like this, in order to for their gains, they have been lobbying. So what exactly does people can do, or nations can do, to bring these big corporate companies where they can be taken care, where they have to take care of their workers? In 2017, UK has ruled that since drivers working in Uber adhere to the code and conduct of Uber policies, they come as drivers, like they come under Uber, so they have to be eligible for work health benefits and paid holidays and pension benefits. So the bigger picture is many corporate companies have been avoiding tax, paying tax, and they have been not really looking well after their workers. In order to be changed this, there has to be a change that has to be come at the top of from the government itself, like by updating the tax restructure the tax. I mean, how have been when we have heard that the tax regulations or the tax laws have been adhered or changed or adjusted to the new business models? Not really. We have been following the same tax laws that has been implemented a decade ago or 10 years ago. So we need to change the tax policies, and we need to bring those corporate policies to be implemented in these big corporate companies, so they pay the tax and they look after their workers.